Welcome to the Pacific Northwest CryoEM Center's updated remote screening with SerialEM video. We offer our users semi-monthly online workshops teaching this workflow. Check the description below for additional information and documentation. Alright, I'm going to perform the SerialEM PC check. First, confirm that low dose mode is enabled. This checkbox right here that I've just clicked. Enabled. Open the column valves. Take a search image. Search is my lowest magnification, and I will start here. Alright, I need to center a grid square in order to check view. Search looks good. I don't see any cutoff from the C2 aperture. So to move to a grid square, I'll use Shift on the keyboard, right click, drag, and then release. Wait for the stage to move and the red stop button to clear. Going to take one more search image to verify that my move was accurate. Looks good. Now I can check my view imaging state. So I'll click View in Camera and Script K3. Wait for that image to appear. During the following checks, I'm looking to see that the software is returning an image and there isn't any beam edge in the field of view of the camera. View looks good. Next, I will check focus. Focus looks good. I'll take a mental note of the magnification to verify that record is at the same magnification. So 28,000x. Now I'll take a record image. And that looks good as well. So I have now checked my SerialEM PC and verified that SerialEM is imaging correctly. If I had any issues, I would contact my scientific point of contact, or I would contact PNCC staff for assistance. Now I will load the first grid. In order to do that, I am going to use one-line scripts. The menu here, script, edit, run one line, click that. Box will appear here at the bottom. I'm going to start with my grid 1, which is in slot 2, and I will say load cartridge 2 and click run. This is a long operation, and I will wait for the red stop button to clear to know that it's complete and my grid is loaded. Alright, our grid has been loaded, so let's begin screening. First thing I'm going to do is open the column valves and take a search image. I've verified that search is collecting an image, and now I can set up my low mag montage file. Navigator menu open, navigator menu, montaging and grids, set up full montage. I'll take the default settings and just verify that use search parameters and low dose mode is checked. Click OK. Can take these settings as well. Now I must look for the proper place to save at PNCC. We save to the Z drive, and then find your project number. It's an internal project, so I'll do 50414. Now I'll make a new folder, and it will be Glacios test. Go there. Inside of there, I must make another folder that's titled screening. And now I can save lmm.mrc. Click save. Now I'll wait for the red stop button to clear, and also in montaging controls, the start button to be enabled. Once the start button is enabled, I can press start to collect the LMM. Low mag montage collection is complete, and I will click yes to add it as a navigator item. It appears as this first one right here. We can see color blue, and it's section 0 of lmm.mrc. Now I can continue the screening process. The first thing I do when screening a grid that was vitrified using a Vitribot is look for the direction of the wedge. I can see that going from left to right, bottom left to top right, and the way you can tell is that the thicker, smaller grid squares and then the thinner, larger grid squares. So I'll identify at least 2 grids to screen with, one thick, one thin. I like to start with thin grids, which are the larger grid squares. So I'll go to the edge of the thickness. I can scroll in I can zoom in and then click and drag to move around the map. And I will take one of these large grid squares like this one, where there isn't any evidence of empty holes in the center. So these ones may be too thin. The ones in the center are definitely too thin. So I'll go with a grid square, and I'll click add marker, and then I'm going to zoom out and find a thin one, or I'll zoom out and find a thick square, something down here where I just placed the marker. So I'll zoom in, drag the map, click left, click drag the map to go in that direction, and choose a thicker one. So I'll go with as thick as possible. So this one right here. And I'll click add marker. So now those 2 are there. I can label them square 1 and square 2 by clicking them in the navigator and changing the label. So I'll do that now. I'd like to go to square 1 first, so I'll select it in navigator and say go to XY. Now the stage has moved there, and I can take a view image. All right, this looks okay. A lot of transfer contamination, but it should be good enough for screening. So what I will do is run rough U-centric. I can either use 5 one-line scripts, U-centricity 1, or in the tasks menu, U-centricity, rough U-centricity. Let it complete that procedure, and I'll watch to make sure things go well. As noted in the log, the rough U-centric routine is complete. Now I will center a hole that I would like to screen. So I'm going to choose one without a lot of transfer contamination in it, like this one in the top here. Put down this marker and say go to marker. Wait for the stage to move, and I'm going to click view again to verify the accuracy of that movement. The crosshairs mark the stage center and where I would acquire images. So it missed. This happens because stage movement is a mechanical movement and there can be backlash. So I will click the center again, say go to marker, and now click view. Looks great. I need to define the focus position since this is the first grid square of this grid. And so I will do that in low dose control, define position of area, click focus. You see the field of view of the camera as a green box, and then the yellow is the focus position. I can focus between holes on the carbon foil. So any of these positions are correct, but I should choose one where there isn't transfer contamination. So I'll just go straight above to this area. I want to give some distance between the hole and this image in this focus position. This looks good. Those were clicks, and now I can click none. Now I'm going to focus. So for screening, I like to use high to focus. You can see in the yellow box, to focus target is minus 1.8 microns. I'd like to change that to minus 3.5. I'll use the focus tune menu and click set target. Here I will type in minus 3.5 and press OK. And now the focus target has changed to minus 3.5 microns. I'll click autofocus and wait for the autofocus routine to complete. Autofocus is complete. I can press record. Here's my image of apoferritin. It can be helpful to look at the FFT while screening. So to open the FFT window, I'll use Process menu and then click FFT. Now I have my FFT to the right. I'm going to adjust the box to fit that better. Okay, it looks good. I will make sure I have the record image selected, and then I'm going to save this image. Use Windows menu, take image snapshot. The image snapshot dialog appears. I'd like to scale by 2 for screening images. Increase text size by 4. I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and I'll click snapshot. Now I need to travel to my folder, which is the Z drive 50414 Glacios test screening, and now I can save anything in here, or I can save my record image. I like to label them like G1 for grid 1, square 1, and then record 1. I'll click save. Now it's time to screen one more hole on this grid square. So to do that, I will click view to get my view image. I will choose another hole. I can choose one of the neighbors or something a little further away. I might as well go a little further away, so I'll take this hole right here and then say go to marker. Press view to verify the accuracy of that movement. Okay, it's slightly off. This time around, rather than putting down a marker and saying go to marker, I'm going to use an image shift. Image shift are electronic movements, and they're quick and accurate. So I will click the position I want centered and then drag that to the center of the crosshairs, wait for it to catch up, and then release. You can see in the microscope area, I have an image shift of 0.25 microns, and now I can autofocus and then record. All right, autofocus completed. Now I can press record. Okay, here's my screening image. I'm going to zoom out a little just to get a full view of it. Now I'm going to save this as a snapshot. I press snapshot, and this will be record 2. And SerialEM will automatically increment the number if it's at the end of the file name. So that record 1 changed to record 2, and I'll click save. If I was curious about the focus value of this image, I can check the FFT. What I do is take the first 0, this large black band, and I'll do a left click with the mouse in it. It will fit the CTF and display the defocus down in the log. So this image has a defocus of minus 3.756 microns, and that's great. Whenever you click in the FFT window, make sure you click back into the main record window so that you do not save snapshots of the FFT. The snapshot dialog will save whichever window is highlighted. So I have now screened 2 holes on this grid square. I'm going to go to square 2 and do the same thing. In the navigator, I'll click square 2 and go to XY. Okay, it's done moving. I'm going to click view to verify that this is a good place to run rough eccentric. Okay, there's my image. I'm going to run rough eccentric. This time I'll use the 5 one-line scripts, eccentricity 1 command, click run, and let that procedure complete. All right, rough eccentric is complete, and I can now screen a hole. So same as last time, I will put a marker down on a hole of interest and click Go to Marker in the navigator window. Press View to verify the accuracy of the movement. Refine the position with image shift. Right-click, drag to the center of the crosshair, release. And now I can autofocus and then press record. Record. Right, image looks good. I will save a snapshot. Image snapshots. This time around, I'm going to update the square to square 2. And save that. And now I want to screen one more hole on this grid square. Press View. All right. Choose an area that looks interesting. I'm going to see what this diffuse blob is, so I'll click that area right there, put a marker, go to Marker, press View. All right, it's right on that, so I will autofocus. And record. Zoom out. Okay, something there. A little bit of an aggregate. You can see that area there. So I'm glad that I took a picture of this area. I'll save a snapshot. This will be square 2, record 4, click Save. And now at the minimum, I've screened this grid. I can make an assessment of the overall protein concentration, the quality of the ice, and things of that nature. I can now move on to the next screening grid. First, I will save an LMM of the targets, so I have that for my records. Double click the LMM in the navigator. I can see square 1 and square 2. If I want to, I can change the colors, so I could say these are both green, they're good. Do whatever you find helpful. And I'm going to save a snapshot of this LMM. So I'll click Snapshot, and I'll call this G1 LMM, and that's with targets. Click OK. And now I can refer to this when setting up my data collection, and also send this image to PNCC staff when explaining what grid squares are good with my pre-screened grid form. Now it's time to switch to the next grid. What I'll do is close Navigator. I can say no, I don't need to save the Navigator because I've saved an image of my LMM with targets. And I want to close the open map. So I see that at the top, lmm.mrc is open, File, Close, to close it. And then I come down to 5 one-line scripts, change the 2 to a 3, and click Run. I'll wait for this load to complete, and then I complete the same process I just did. Thank you for watching our video. If you found it informative, please like and subscribe. Comment below with any requests for videos and any questions you have, and we'll be happy to answer them. If you're interested in attending one of our in-person or online workshops, please visit our website at pncc.labworks.org for more information.